Kothari has built her life and career with the ultimate entrepreneurial mindset. Say yes to opportunity, then figure it out. When Amy arrived at American University for her MBA, working full-time and taking classes at night, she promised herself she'd excel. She rose to the top of her class, mentored classmates, and proved she could do far more than she'd ever imagined. That spirit set the tone for a fearless career, leading in some of the toughest, most male-dominated industries. Amy jumped from cable finance to banking, then said yes to a CFO role before she really understood the difference between a debit and a credit in a financial statement. Like other entrepreneurs, she was a quick study, and she then turned to grow a 12-person security company into a business with hundreds of employees and more than $100 million in revenue. Amy is a serial entrepreneur, moving from strength to strength. Today, Amy runs a property restoration company, taking a personal passion and turning it into an impactful business, and serves on multiple boards. Her proudest yes, maybe the most personal. Her daughter said yes to being her company's chief of staff, leaving a career in private equity to learn how to run a business by her side. For Amy Kothari, there was never a perfect plan, only opportunities, an entrepreneurial mindset, and the courage to say yes over and over again. She now fosters that attitude in others and supports future leaders and entrepreneurs at American University and beyond. We are proud to welcome her to the Kogod Business and Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame.
Please welcome to the stage Casey Evans to introduce our next award recipient.
I'm glad you came back. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Casey Evans. I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs here at the Kogod School of Business, faculty member, and I'm an AU alum. And I am very honored to be here with you to introduce one of our amazing Hall of Fame inductees, Amy Kothari. And the video you just watched, it really did a great job, I think, of showing you about Amy's mindset, her amazing career, her success as an entrepreneur. And at the very end, it made a reference about mentorship and her really thinking about her impact on future generations and making an impact on future generations. And that piece of Amy is rich. And so I'm going to spend a little more time on that piece there, because if we're talking about her impact on future generations, specifically our Kogod students, I've been very fortunate enough to see that firsthand. And so I'd like to tell you a little bit more about that. When I first met Amy, she told me about how she was in our capstone course. She was talking to a bunch of seniors. And this was, these seniors were just finished, came out of COVID. They spent most of their time at AU on Zoom, and so they were pretty anxious and worried about entering the job market, particularly not really knowing how to network. They just didn't even know where to start. They didn't know, they were just lacking confidence. And Amy was very gracious and, of course, gave her time, some good tips for them, and opened up her network for them. But, those folks really had an impact on her. And, her conversations with those students really stuck with her, and she knew they needed more support. And Amy pushed us to do better for them. And she really pushed us and also became a partner in really reimagining and figuring out how we could better support our students in that space. And so it meant, among other things, revamping our career development office and really upping our game there. And, Amy said we need to be more externally facing. We need to be externally oriented, build stronger relationships with employers, and advice is easy to give. Yeah, just go make a bunch of relationships with employers. She didn't just say good luck, figure it out. She rolled up her sleeves, she showed up, and she really helped us reimagine our career development function. And to the extent she even co-chaired a nationwide search that we did that brought us Cynthia O'Brien, which we're very happy about. And we've with Cynthia's leadership and Amy's help reimagining career, we have a career development center now that students can count on. And I've heard that time and time again. And, Amy didn't stop there. Amy and her husband, Bob, also established a fund to create substantive networking opportunities for our students. And this fund grew into what we call the Amy Kothari Dinner. And since the dinner started in February 24, we've had 5 of them. Over 500 Kogod students have been at this dinner, attended this dinner, and over 45 alums have been table hosts for these dinners, which has really created these wonderful experiences for a lot of students, and where students are creating relationships with alums. They are learning about that networking. They're learning about how to have a meal with folks. And when we ask students to reflect on their time at these dinners, they've said things like, I didn't know I even needed to learn this. I've been able to learn about professionalism and networking in a totally different way, a way I couldn't find anywhere else. And this has helped me build habits that are going to continue with me through my career. And they're just grateful. They're very thankful for these opportunities. And so, Amy, your belief in our students, your willingness to invest your time, your resources, and your talent has really just made us better, and we so appreciate it. You have really helped us change the way that we prepare our students. And our students now walk into their internships, their first-time jobs, their interviews just much more confident. And they are really confident because you chose to show up for them. And you showing up for them, help them better understand that networking isn't just for a bunch of extroverts, that really anyone can do it. And as long as you're comfortable in your own skin and you're confident, you can really go far. And because you chose to show up for them, I've seen in our students, particularly our women, say, I can do that. They are given an opportunity that maybe they don't have a lot of experience in, but they're confident and they're saying, I can take risks just like you did in your career. And you're a role model for them. You're a role model for me. And I am so happy to be here. And so happy to, on behalf of our students, our faculty, our Kogod community, to say thank you and welcome you to the Kogod School of Business Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Of course. All right. Which side do I want? My hair out of it. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations. I know, it's like a real deal.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Casey. It's been such an honor to get to know Casey and to work with her and just see the inspirational work that she has done in ripping apart our curriculum. Yes, with some pressure from me to say, like, we need to change the way we do this. So first, just the deepest thanks to the Kogod School of Business, to American University, to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. I don't know who they were, but you got a little mixed up here, but I'm honored to be here. It's especially meaningful to be here as not only an alumni, but a member of the Kogod Advisory Board, a member of the Board of Trustees. It just feels very full circle, so I want to thank everyone for that. I also obviously want to thank Dean Marshik, President Alger, everyone, Kogod, all of the staff, and all the supporters. This is an amazing community here. And I'm so happy to be able to be a much more integral part of it than I am today. Kogod has definitely been a through line in my life and in my career. When I arrived here as an MBA student, I definitely didn't see or have a clear linear path from the classroom to this Hall of Fame. Like, I didn't see that coming at all. What I did find here was something far more important, though. It was a place that really encouraged curiosity. It built my confidence. It gave me a real responsibility and pushed me to think like a builder. People have said to me, how did you make the decision to go to graduate school? And I was working in DC, and a mentor of mine that I worked with encouraged me to go to graduate school. AU is the only school that offered class at night, so I could work and go to school. And I only came here for one reason, was to prove that what I did in undergraduate was not, don't look at me, Dad. Not good to have your father come. was an opportunity to prove to myself that I was smarter and more capable than I felt like I had come out of undergraduate. And that's what going to graduate school was for me. I came in here, and someone probably needs to look into this. I came in with the desire to graduate #1 and prove that I really can work hard and learn. I think I graduated like second or third, but maybe someone should look that up. I might be wrong. So it was an amazing opportunity. The combination of rigorous finance with Kent Baker, who we all recently lost and remember, and others, but even more importantly was a very human, relationship-centered culture here that shaped how I lead today. I was telling some students today that when I work with a lot of these companies and these businesses that I'm in, I'll talk about them in a second, are businesses that go all the way down to very blue-collar technicians, warehouse, managers, and I say to them all the time, they've heard me say it many times, that none of them work for me. I work for them. And I think as leaders, that is our job. Our job is to work for them, and to make them better. So much of my career has been spent in businesses that don't always make the headlines. I've been in residential security, monitoring, armed guards. I'm now in restoration, property restoration for floods and fires. And these are industries that show up when people are having their worst days. So whether it's a break-in or a flood or a fire, these have been opportunities to see real people who have been affected by these things and to send out my teams that are real people to make a difference in their lives. And that's really been something that's kind of fueled me. I spent a number of years in banking, and it was great. I loved my banking career in New York City, but this is a whole different level of operations. At my alarm center at Intech Restoration, I've had the privilege of working with just amazing people at all levels of the corporate structure, all the way up to the investment bankers and the lenders and my private equity firms, but even more importantly are the really incredible, smart, hardworking people that run these businesses. Growing companies in these environments, whether it's through acquisitions, technology transformation, and a lot of blocking and tackling, has reinforced for me that success is as much about purpose and culture as it is about strategy and capital structure. And it really is about building a well-rounded culture of people who can work together and trust each other. If there's a common thread across the different chapters in my career, it's that nothing meaningful happens alone. I've been extraordinarily fortunate to work with talented, loyal teams, supportive capital partners, who have all leaned in to the complexity and challenges. Together, we've built organizations that could grow, could pivot, restructure when needed, which was often, and still stay grounded in our values. This honor belongs to them just as much as it does to me. And again, I work for all of them, for the people in these companies, and that's just been such a joy. I'm also very conscious that the AU community has invested in me over the years. I got a call probably 15 years ago. Would I be interested in joining the Kogod Advisory Board? And I didn't even know there was one. I said, sure. And I said, but this is the first time I've heard from anyone at AU since I graduated. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to go do this, we need to change that and start. We're only as strong at this university as our alumni. And I really started on a mission at that time to do exactly that. So serving on the Kogod Advisory Council and now the Board of Trustees has given me a front row seat to the ambition and creativity of the students and faculty here. It has just absolutely blown my mind over the last couple of years. And then just today, sitting with those students at the Valoric Center that Gary has built for us, I mean, we have incredible leaders in our future. And it's why I care so deeply about giving back. So whether through my board work, the Kothari networking dinner, or supporting students and entrepreneurs and operators to help them build durable, value-driven businesses and careers, it's really been a gift back to me to be so involved in this business. And I think that to all the students and kind of younger alumni who may be in the room today, I want to say that your path probably will not be a straight line. And that's more than okay. My career has been nothing but saying yes to some opportunities. And the two examples I gave a couple of people today is that I had an opportunity to go from business school from here into the finance group with a cable company, Comcast. And it was actually through someone my father knew, who was the general counsel there. And he said, well, we're looking for an analyst. And so I joined Comcast. And I worked in corporate finance at Comcast and then at Cox Communications. And so I just thought, I was moving to New York City, my husband and I were. So I called my bankers and I said, hey, can you introduce me to Cablevision? And they said, that's the Dolan family. You don't want to work for them. They're terrible. And they owned Madison Square Garden at the time. And they said, you don't want to do that. You can't go work for Cablevision. And I said, well, then what am I going to do? I have a career in cable. And they said, no, come be a banker. And again, I said, okay. I don't know the first thing about being a banker. I took my Series 7, my Series 63. I came in with no banker training. I think a lot of the other analysts at the bank were definitely side-eyeing me. Of who is she just coming in here? So it made me work even harder because that fear of failure was like, I got to prove myself now. And while I was there for, I think, over 6 years. It was one of my favorite jobs because you get exposed, kind of like you get to do at the Entrepreneurship Center, to so many different businesses and companies along the way. And I actually was pregnant with my twin daughters, one of which is my chief of staff today. And I'll never forget when I was told that I was being promoted to this next level in the bank, but yet I was 6 months pregnant with twins. And it just shows that, like, that hard work, like, I was able to keep moving forward. And then the other story I like to tell is that we then moved to Philadelphia, and I was going to take another job in banking. So now I'm going to continue on a banking path. And I got a phone call from someone who said, hey, while you were in banking, you developed an expertise in the home security industry. And I covered all recurring revenue businesses, so media, telecom, and the cable industry, but also home security. And they said, will you come to a board meeting? So I went to a board meeting, and they said, well, we really need a CFO. And they're saying, you were a banker, you must know how to be a CFO. And I said, no, I don't. And they said, well, we'd like you to take this job, just part-time, temporary, help us get back, on our feet from a financial perspective. And so I came home and I said to my husband, I'm turning down the job at the bank, and I'm going to start this job on Tuesday. And he said, what do you know about being a CFO? And I said, nothing. I don't know anything. And I said to them, I don't know the difference between a debit and a credit. I hired a very good accounting firm. So again, relying on people who can support you. I said to them, your job is to be my accounting firm, but also to teach me 101. I also kept my accounting book from AU in my desk. And when the CEO would go home at night, because he didn't want to hire me, when he'd go home at night, I'd pull out my accounting book and learn how to do cash flow statements and learn how to put financials together and figured out how to be a CFO. So again, just kind of saying yes. Well, that part-time temporary job, I was there for 19 years. I built the company from $4 million of revenue to $200 million of revenue. I was the 12th employee. Today we have about over 500 employees today. I still sit on the board of that company and did thousands of acquisitions. It was an acquisition-driven roll-up business in the residential home security business. Faced technology interruptions with DIY and other platforms that are out there. PhillySafe, Ring, all were people that disrupted our business and had a lot of other challenges. So some of my most important opportunities in my career definitely came disguised as problems. The market shifted, technology disrupted my business model, capital structures fell apart, the company went through distress. You just say yes to all those hard problems. Learn to be comfortable with ambiguity and invest early in your reputation, your integrity, and your relationships. Those are the assets that compound over time and give you the confidence and, frankly, the flexibility to have kind of the career and life that you want to have. Finally, I want to thank my dad, who inspired and supported my fierce independence, even if he didn't always agree with it, probably most of the time. My husband for always believing in me beyond my own beliefs. my 3 children who have supported me in more ways than imaginable, and particularly right now, my daughter Allie, who is my chief of staff, who left private equity to come and join me, and she said she wanted to do it because she wants to learn from me, which that's pretty amazing for a mom to hear. My sister-in-law, who's also my best friend, who gets me and all my faults, and all of my colleagues and friends, and I mean, how many people can have a sister-in-law who's actually their best friend? Like, and many people who have cheered me on, challenged me, and stood by me through a lot of twists and turns. My husband has said that my career is like a Netflix series. And every day he'd say, so what happened today? But through that, I've learned so much. So thank you again to Kogod, to American University for this extraordinary honor. I was shocked when Dave called me. I said, really? And for the privilege of being part of this community, which has become my community. I'm excited for what we see next from this generation of leaders that Kogod's going to put out. It's going to be one of the best groups that have ever come out of here, and I look forward to supporting all of you from the sidelines and whenever possible to be right beside you. So thank you, everyone.